In this video, we're going to talk about Windows file management. Some of the objectives that we'll cover is how Windows stores files, File Explorer and the parts of it, how to navigate the folders using it, and how to cut, copy, move, delete, and paste and rename files in there. You'll also use shortcuts, search for files, and identify file types. I am keeping a list here of words to know so that you can refer to them and make sure that you understand them when they pop up in the video. A file is simply a collection of data that is stored together. A file could be an executable file, it could be a video, it could be a PDF, an image, a Word document, could be an audio file, it could be all sorts of things. Files are stored in folders. You can see a couple of folders here. Folders on the computer act the same way as folders do on your desk, the paper version. They are simply containers for files of similar kinds, things that you want to keep grouped together. And typically you find your folders on drives. The first drive I want to explore is your OneDrive. So there's a couple of ways that you can get there. We can try Class Link. For some reason, mine is not opening, so I'm going to go straight to Office 365. Okay. If you're using Class Link, make sure that you then choose Office 365 from there. Once you're in Office 365, you have a list of all of the Microsoft tools that are available for you to use. You're going to choose OneDrive. This is going to be where you store your files for this class. So mine is already full of stuff, but you can see all the folders, and you can see if I was to open them up, you'd see some files inside the folders. What you want to do is click this sync button, and this sync button will allow you to connect the cloud version of your OneDrive, which you see here, to your computer so that you have a physical spot on your computer where you can save these. First thing you'll want to do is click on this Open Microsoft OneDrive. And mine tells me that I'm already connected, so I can't do anything more than that, which is fine. But follow through with the steps. Hit pause if you need to so that you can follow along. You will probably, maybe, depending on how you got there, have to log in with your school email address. Remember, it is your username that you logged onto the computer with at students.lcisd.org. The password is the same password you use to log on to the computer. You should press pause on this video to go through the steps of syncing your OneDrive. Once your OneDrive is synced, you should be able to see over here on the File Explorer, OneDrive, and then see what folders you have in there. If you don't see that, then you need to do the sync again because it did not work for you. I'm going to go ahead and close those windows. So drives contain certain types of disks, and these disks are simply storage media, which can include removable media and hard disks. When we talk about removable media, we could be talking about a USB drive, which I happen to have in my computer. Remember that a USB drive can be removed, and if you want to remove it, you need to make sure that you hit the eject button or use this arrow and this to safely eject your OneDrive, or sorry, not your OneDrive, but your USB drive. Removable media are simply disks that you insert or attach to a computer, such as USB drives. Sometimes they're referred to as flash drives, thumb drives. could include DVDs or CDs. The term hard disk refers to a disk that's installed in the system. It stores a lot of data economically. It's already in the box. However, an external hard disk or hard drive is something that you can carry in your backpack, and it contains a removable drive that you can attach to your computer. They typically have a lot bigger file size capability than a USB drive. Windows names the drives on the computer by assigning each drive a letter. Okay, and if we look here, we can see the C drive. By default, the C drive is the operating system. The remaining drives can have any other letter from D to Z followed by a colon. And remember that I showed you yesterday the campus share drive where you might need to get files from me here. Okay? Windows organizes the folders and files in a structure or a hierarchy that we call a file system. So here we have an example of a root directory, meaning the C drive, and then under the C drive, Windows stores other system files and folders. And in this example, there's 3 system folders, and then under that are other subfolders. These folders contain all of the data that runs the computer. You can also have root directories on a USB drive and have folders and subfolders there. You can have a root directory on pretty much any place where is your main storage. Now, when we talk about a computer, obviously the absolute root directory is always the C drive. File Explorer is simply the Windows management tool that we use to organize all our files. This is your File Explorer window. It displays all the contents of your computer using icons to represent drives, folders, and files. So if we look here, you can see this little arrow next to each of these. This allows you to expand and contract the items that are next to it. One thing that you should know, I don't personally like the quick access, and it really confuses a lot of people because sometimes you name folders the same thing and you have them in different places, and then you wind up not knowing where your files are. I always recommend to go straight to your OneDrive, find where you want to save it there, and do it that way. Windows does provide 4 folders on the computer. Typically, it is your documents, your downloads, music, picture, and videos. Okay, that's actually 5. Yes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There we go, 5. Documents, for a lot of things, is the default way that it saves to the computer. So you got to make sure that you are, when you do a save, that you direct it to your OneDrive. If you ever can't find it in your OneDrive, there's a good chance you saved it there. If you ever download anything from the internet, whether it's an image from a Google search or whatever, it's probably in your downloads folder. Now, I do not suggest saving things in any of these on purpose because they are not secure and they don't follow you from computer to computer. Make sure that you are saving things in your OneDrive. Whoops. Okay, so if we look at File Explorer, we have up here at the top is our title bar where it says this PC. We have the ribbon, okay, depending on what you're using. We have the navigation pane over here on the left. And remember, the reason this is a navigation pane is because of the ability to expand and collapse. We have right here is the address bar, which is very similar to the address bar on a browser. It tells you where something is located. You have over here the ability, the search button, the ability to search for things. You have a minimize button. You have a maximize or restore button and a close button. You have the right pane over here, and then you have a status bar down at the right-hand side. To work with files and folders, you can use the navigation pane over here. When you select a folder on the navigation pane, the contents of that folder appears in the right-hand frame. To view the subfolders contained in a folder, you can double click on that folder, or you can still use the arrow to expand. You can hit the same icon to collapse and hide the contents. A library displays similar types of files together, no matter where they are stored, so that you can access them easily. In contrast, a folder stores files in a specific location. A contextual tab contains options related to your current task or location. For example, if I have an image selected, like this JPEG, you see how this contextual tab pops up with picture tools that allows me to do a few things with it. You always have to be able to navigate to your data files, and part of this includes knowing how to use your file path. So if I gave you this file path, how would you go about finding it? Well, I look at it first and I see that it's on a drive called S. Well, I know that's my campus share drive, so I would click that. Then I know the next part, because it's separated by this slash, is HS Lamar, then student, then Samuelson, and then in this folder called #last name Subway. So that's how I know how to find things using the file path. This is basically an address of where things are stored. Now, sometimes it's important for you to have a different view. So right now, my view, and I know my view is right here in my File Explorer, is details. The details allow me to see different things. If I right-click up here, I can see that I can add even more details to it. It allows me to sort things alphabetically by name. It allows me to sort things by a status, by the date that it was modified, by the type, and this is usually how I have things done, because that way I keep all folders together, all PDFs together, etc., etc., or by size. And if I knew that I was looking for something with a very large size, then I might use that. And there are other options as well. However, sometimes the details don't give you enough detail. Here I have a folder that is all JPEGs, it's all photos, and I'm looking at it and I have no idea what I'm looking for unless I double click on it. Well, that's not true. We can use the view menu and we can use extra large, medium, or large icons to where we can see a preview, a thumbnail of what the image is. Now remember, you heard the term icons. This is an icon, the picture that represents something. That is what an icon is.